Okay, so I want to divide this into two sections. The first one is what I was actually doing and my approach to it, and then and the second part is taking a zoomed out version that's a little bit more abstract, and where I share what it's teaching me in that way, and it might probably make it more applicable to you who's listening if you want it to be. So here we go. I was trying to do and or learn how to make like a water effect and just the technical side of it. I actually used a tutorial at first, which I usually don't do for sometimes for pride reasons, which make our ego ego rooted in ego and silly. But in this context, following that tutorial and using that tutorial gave me a template to work with, to work from. So from there, I just kept trying different ways to do the effect, like adding a little bit more here, getting rid of some stuff I didn't like with the layering, adding extra layers, trying different colors. Oh, and also I did this over the course of like months. Just because I wasn't on a deadline, I was just doing it for me and not necessarily consistently. And I ended up using some of that water effect in one of my paintings that I actually shared. So after all those attempts and after all those tries, I feel like the place that I arrived at, where I felt like, okay, this is it, or this is closer to what I want to do. Not necessarily like the end, but just somewhere that felt a little bit, I don't know, like it was exciting for me to look at it, and like I was actually trying. It felt like loose, it felt a little abstract. It just felt right to me. And I want to go back to that word exciting. It felt exciting, which to me is important. It's important for me to feel interested and excited by my work. And like I'm going in directions that I haven't gone before. So challenging myself to get there. I feel like if I had gone for an effect that was a little bit more realistic, it would have been really hard for me. It would have been like challenging. It would have gotten in the way, because trying to get every detail has been like a big source of anxiety for me, and like it's just not where I want to go, period, and that can be where other people want to go, where other artists want to go, and that's fine. So yeah, that's basically what this process was. And the second part of this is and what this specific practice taught me, and it's something that I'm gonna keep on learning in different ways, because yeah, this isn't the end all be all lesson, but it's just a lesson for the sake of this share for you all. So I feel like in the past, if I was trying to do something and it just wasn't quite fitting the vision that I had in my head, I would get like discouraged immediately, and at worst feel like a failure and just not want to keep trying. And at best, I would just abandon the idea and move on to something else. But nowadays, and what this practice reminded me, is that there's no such thing as a failed attempt if it like gets me closer to my goal. So if I tried something and I didn't like it, at least I have more information to know, like, okay, that's not the direction I want to go, so let me try this other thing instead. Yeah, so redefining that, an attempt away from like failure or mistake, or labeling it a mistake. Yeah, another lesson is like, it's not about having the perfect idea in your head or the perfect idea of what it needs to look like, especially when that is informed by like an external source outside of you. And also, because of the world and the society that we live in, often that external definition is informed by a lot of BS and like oppression and like capitalism and all of that stuff. So yeah, so not having that ideal but rather a practice as getting closer to something that feels more like you, what you want the thing that you're working on to be when it comes to like art that you're making specifically. Let's see, what else do I have? Oh yeah, also like the process is also enjoying the process is also about like I'm learning that it's also about letting go of when you think you should arrive at the goal that you're working towards, right? Not letting that get in the way of you actually getting there. So an example is like if I were under a deadline, right? Like under a project, in a project that I have to submit for an open call or whatever, and that has to be in 2 months. I have to have the idea fully fleshed out in 2 months, and it has to look this way, and it has to be this, this, and this. That can get, I feel like sometimes that is unavoidable. Like there are projects where that has to happen. But in terms of exploring and in terms of like trying different techniques, trying different approaches to your art, that can get in the way of like letting go and just going wherever you feel called to, going wherever your intuition takes you. Okay, so I think that's all I got for now. I don't really know how to close this, conclude this in like a cool way. So I'm just gonna say, see y'all later. Please let me know what you think, especially like folks who follow me on IG. If I know you in person, like let me know what's up. Let me know, yeah, what you think of this podcast, whatever idea, and what you think about if you're also an artist, if you agree with some of this, if you have different approaches, etc. And yeah, take care, y'all.